everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Little Fawn and this is this week's Wisdom from Beyond. We're gonna take a little break from the ASHA Files because I don't know how you guys did with this Scorpio full moon that we just had, but she was intense. She's very intense. And I'm a Scorpio rising, so I'm not shy about going deep and rising from my own ash. I've reinvented myself more times than I can count, really, but this one was definitely a lot. And I don't know if you noticed, but I noticed that throughout the day I could actually feel the frequency shifts very palpably, like the whoa, and then you're like, whoa, I gotta catch up. So the actual day of the full moon, it was rainy here. I'm in the south of Jersey, and Sojers, and it was like it's been a soggy few days, so it was very appropriate to just be like, okay, it's wet and it's rainy, and I'm just gonna lean into the self-care of it all. So it was a lot of meditating, a lot of frequency work. I have an oracle deck that I use specifically for healing, and it's the Alana Fairchild White Light Oracle. I'll put a link in the little description below. She has a couple of quick 3-card spreads in there that actually, for me, I use them for energy healing, for self-healing. Very, very powerful. The cards themselves are a frequency deck, so I experience really, really palpable and cool shifts when I use them. So that's what I did. That's what I did the night of the full moon, and I woke up literally a new lady. So it was very helpful. I'll put a link in. But the two spreads that she gives are a purification, and then I think it's like a sacred surrender. So kind of clearing the path, like what is it that is relevant to carry forward? What am I stepping forward into? And then like, what's the now of it all? And then opening up the space for the sacred surrender. And you set your intention at the beginning, but it's very, very powerful and very helpful. So I thought I would share that with you all, because I know it made a world of difference for me. And yeah, so and then the reason we're taking, I knew there was a reason that I told that story other than sharing the magic of the cards. When I went to bed on that same night, and when I lay down to go to sleep, I usually do very quick, like, self Reiki on myself. I think I mentioned before that I am very holy and really in my perimenopause wonder, and when the hot flashes have stopped, and I didn't even mind them so much, but it was the night sweats that were the jerks, because when you don't sleep, it just kind of ruins everything. And I need like 8-9 hours. So I found that when I started to do the Reiki at night before I went to sleep, and I would set my little white noise maker for like a half an hour, and I would just go through and do a general once over. In the beginning, it would actually bring the hot, like as soon as I put my hands in the head position, it would pull the night sweat like out in that moment. And I remember I would say to myself, 90 seconds, that's what it takes. That's what it takes the body. So I can breathe through this for 90 seconds. And usually it was over before 90 seconds. But then they just stopped. So it was almost like they were pulling it out before, and then I would sleep through the night, and now I just don't get them at all anymore. So again, I'm tangenting to tell you that when I laid down after my little energy healing session with myself for the full moon, I started with the Reiki, and immediately Casparé, who, for those of you who have kind of been with me for a little while on my other channel, he's one of my main guides, and he represents the Royal Star Lions, the galactic Royal Star Lions. Very big, very powerful, impressive energy, even though he's like, you don't have to use that word, but it's like, it's a massively powerful, but in that kind of strength card in the tarot deck, strength way, like that quiet inner strength, like there's never any forcing or any, you know, forcing. He just is, and you feel that isness in him. I remember when my friend Brandon, I think I posted our first interview as part of the Friday Night Light archives that I mentioned I'd be releasing each week. And when we talked to ASHA, and then he asks to bring in Casparé and Guitarra, and if you watch, you actually see him physically shift when Casparé comes in, like the moment. And you know, when I'm in that mode, I don't have an awareness of that. But when I watched back and I watched him shift in his seat, I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And so cool. And he said, yeah, because he could feel that like bigness. So anyway, he's been sleeping lately. And in the beginning, and I don't know, I may have mentioned this in another post, but in the beginning I was like, oh no, am I like, you know how humans are, am I doing something wrong? Why is he sleeping? Am I sleeping? Is there a part of me that I need to wake up? And then I realized, no, in the higher realms, sleeping isn't what we think it is here. When they sleep to dream. So there's like a very much awakeness to it. But it's that supreme stillness where there's a concentrated focus and effort. Not effort, that's the wrong word, but just a concentrated focus on manifestation. And I know I've said with ASHA before, they are able to manifest like whole entire civilizations, because it's not just one person saying, I really like a new job, and trying to like, you know, think. They come together as a collective and say, what is best for the collective? Do you know what will be good? And then they get still and they focus that intent together as a shared intent. And that is what brings things about. So I realized that he was in that moment of stillness, asleep to dream, in that sense of creation. And then he moved into a state where he was like up, but still. So with the full, and I feel like I think he started to awaken with the new moon in Taurus that happened a couple of weeks ago. But with this moon, after I did the Alana Fairchild energy healing on myself and had that whole bit, when I laid down and started myself Reiki, it was like, boom, here I am. And this massive download started coming in. But it wasn't, I think I've told you before, sometimes I'm just meant to receive it so that it can imprint in. And then later I can live channel, which is what I'm going to do tonight. I can live channel for the collective, however he wants to actually apply coded language and words. But in the moment of it, it was so late at night, and I thought I could. And then I'm sure any of you, if you're here, you've either experienced or from yourself or watched somebody else. Like when you're in it, it's like you kind of have a very small window of making a choice of, am I catching it or am I just meant to like absorb it, to integrate it? And that was definitely an integration moment. And then it was so powerful that the next day when I did my morning meditation, I wrote like just thematic notes for myself to reinforce the imprinting, because it was a very important message about how to reframe our perception on the othering that that I feel like it's like one of the last hurdles for the human collective to move beyond, to understand that we were all born of the same, and therefore we are the same, and there's no fear in losing your chosen identity and expression in this here and now. In knowing that and in accepting that, you can only enhance the experience of the whole with your understanding of like, well, I chose to come in here and contribute this inside of this frequency spectrum with my gifts and my mastery of the things I've picked up in my soul journey. And it's not about losing yourself. And I know in the ASHA Files, they've mentioned that too. It's like, it's not about losing yourself in the one, it's about finding yourself, like stepping fully into yourself in the one, like the big capital ONE. And still understanding that it's just frequency for you to choose a more concentrated, focused intention on an incarnation. And you can easily widen the lens to include the fact that we're all doing that together. And it's funny, I saw another channeler that I follow, Ann Tucker, was talking about, she's lovely, she channels, I think it's primarily like it's angels, and I love listening to her. It's funny, my partner likes listening to her do like this, like the talking after she does it, the kind of breaking down the denseness of it, but I love listening to her actually channel. I love absorbing the encoded frequencies in the words that her angels choose. But she was talking about a very similar concept to one that was recently brought through by ASHA in a newer download, which is that concept of humans as a human collective opening up to our just awareness of our own kind of spherical nexus point of soul being, and understanding that there are a lot of projections from that soul being, of which we are but one, even though it may very well be that this is a primary focus for that soul being. And I do work with people within that kind of, they've given it to me as a nexus of infinity crossroads, where you have access to all of those experiences and expressions that your soul is choosing to have. And you can kind of, I was joking with my partner Louie about, we lived in Vegas for like a hot second, but seeing as how we're not really gamblers or partiers, it was a hot second and that was it. But there's a point where it's like you have the old strip, and then you have like the strip, and then it just like stops. There's no life. It's just, I mean, I shouldn't say no life, but it's just desert, like nothing is there. And some of the timelines that are active as a branch from that nexus are like that, where some of them can hamster wheel, which can then have an effect inside of our now expression, but some of them just kind of deaden out, and then they're hanging there like branches that are like, please prune me. And it's weighting down, kind of like when you have a plant that's got a dead, I have a monstera plant, and she thought she wanted to be outside, but she was a liar. So I brought her back inside, but I had to prune a couple of branches because they take life force energy. You can leave them and be like, maybe, but it's like, again, Scorpio rising, you accept the death of in order to encourage new life. So it's about all of those expressions, and then learning the soul work that I help people do is learning what to dissolve and what to kind of collapse in to this primary focus so that you can amplify. And that is kind of our path to the capital ONE, oneness, is when we start to understand our capacity to do it within ourselves. So it's like you have to roll into your own smaller oneness within your own soul self and higher self, and oversoul, like whatever language you feel comfortable using for it, it's, you have to roll into those before you can really open up into understanding, like, oh, it's all of it. It's the whole and the sum of the parts. Like, they're all equal and valid. One isn't lost because of the other. And the other thing, back to Ann Tucker's report, was she had drawn a very similar expression to what came through for me. And it's not like we're not friends. Like, I watch her stuff. She probably doesn't know I exist, but that when you find information through other channels that corroborates kind of like what's coming through you, or other channels are crossed, like that's when it becomes easier for the newly awakening human collective to be like, hey, there's something here, when things start to kind of bleed through each other. And it is that element of, instead of thinking that everything's outside of you, when you understand that it's all inside of you, that you are the projector, and that everything extends from you. And then the more people that realize that, those projections start to like interweave in a new way that amplifies, like, again, that capital O-N-E, oneness, while also strengthening your capacity as a unique soul expression and frequency of that oneness, in a way where now there's a deliberance. Is that the word I want? It's you're deliberate in what your frequency is, because you can see the whole and the parts, and you understand, oh, this is where I slide in. And I can also kind of, there's a harmonic here, but when I'm around this soul group, I slide in here, and this amplifies this and elevates this, and it's different. It's not like you're contorting to shift to make other people comfortable. It's that higher octave frequency spectrum where you're honoring your own soul mastery and your gifts and your passions, and understanding that there is a place for exactly that enhances everyone else who comes to play with you in that spectrum, and also beams that new wholeness back up to source. And so the image that I had was that, like, here's that linear, and then inside that linear there is that circle. You know, you could say it's the karmic wheel. It's your learning to evolve and elevate. And if you don't quite learn it, you know, hamster wheel. But once you slide into that, like, learn and evolve, elevate, that circle opens up into that spiral. And then that spiral both sends those frequencies of learning and mastery and growth and expansion back to source, to benefit the whole of the whole of the whole, of which we are also a part. But also it comes back down to lift and shift you into even higher octave expressions of whatever it is that you choose to explore and express in this lifetime. So yeah, so Casparé wanted to share a little bit about how we could begin to see in each other that true soul essence, that spark of source. And the best way to do that is to understand that it lives inside of us as well. So when we create the resonance point for it, it will allow us and enable us to actually magnetize, you know, like, oh, I see it. Oh, there it is there. And it's in all walks of life. You know what I mean? It's not just like, look at that sweet angel who helps, you know, small children or feeds the homeless. Like, it's in everyone. That's where the trick is. If we really want to take our seat at the galactic table, and I'm pretty sure we do, we have to become a collective within ourselves, within our own planet. And that's kind of what he wanted to share. So I am going to stop talking and I'm going to turn it over to him. So just give me a few minutes. Hello, dear human collective of Earth. I am Casparé. I am representing the Royal Star Lion Collective of Sirius. I am delighted to be here today speaking through this channel. I have been sleeping to dream, as she has mentioned already. There are big things in the universe, in the galaxy, all working, co-creating together. And as you all lift and shift your frequencies into these higher octaves, you lift and shift into frequencies where we may begin to weave together. And so that is what we are doing at this time. We are weaving with those of you who are opening to and choosing to connect with us at this time, so that we may wrap you in a ribbon of light, that you may follow its stream like a spiral staircase that is unfolding and laying itself out for you to elevate into this new earth experience, which is already underway. When I came to Little Fawn on the eve of the full moon, it was to impart to her this visualization that we find may be very helpful to you all when you have trouble looking into the eyes of an other and seeing the same. For we are all the same. Even in our uniqueness, we still move, express, embody, radiate as love. And so in this way, this is the sameness that we are speaking of, this unconditional love that is source love, that is the love we all were born of, including me and the whole of the universe as it is infinitely unfolding and unfurling as each of you and each of us continues to reach out into even more expansiveness from the heart of your very soul being as it sprung forth from the source of source itself. And so this is what we gave to her and what we will give to you now. When you have babies in your world, on your planet, it is for the most part a most joyous occasion. It is a moment that is born of love, for the child is created in the love that two share and express together as the two become one. And she is reminding me that this is not a lesson in health education, but it is your first instance of experiencing that oneness in that coming together. And so when you come together in that oneness, the triad is complete, as some who subscribe to organized religions or faiths, that Father, Son, Holy Mother, Spirit, there is the completion of the Trinity there. And so the child is born, and because the child is born of you, of each one, and you too, you see in that child you. You see you, and you see your other. And in that one is two. And so when you look on this baby, there is instant, unconditional love pouring through from you and through and into this child, because that child is an expression of you. It is another you. And so whenever you look on it, whether you see flaws that you have, quirks that your significant other may have, or whether you see the beauty and the wonder that comes from each of you, or if it is something completely newborn of that unification that shines back to you, through you, in the eyes of this beautiful life that you created as you, and also as its own unique expression in your world, free to express and experience as they choose, but an extension of a branch of you, the two, now one. And so it is very easy to look into the eyes of this other and see yourself, and to choose to see that self in love. And this is what we would recommend you play with inside of your own imaginal scopes when you are interacting with all other others. Everyone is a child of Source, as you are a child of Source. And so we and you are all connected in this interconnectedness that is ultimately rooted in love. For only love can birth and burst forth such beauty, such wonder, such expressions, so unique. You can even have twin souls coming out as twin physical forms, and they will appear the same in every way, but you, as the parent, will know and see quite clearly their individuality, as they will know their individuality. And yet they too will also share that shared frequency, that unification spectrum that allows them to experience the oneness that you experience with them already. And so again, extend this out into your interactions with all other. Whether your human mind, thinking brain reacts to a frequency coming towards you in judgment, if you pause and align with love and look on everyone as if they were your child, for we are all children Sometimes it is infinitely less challenging to view the shadow in its child form. For everything is born of love, and since everything is born of love, it only becomes shadow by experiencing shadow, absorbing shadow, being told that it is shadow. And so that is something that is taught, that is imprinted over and over and over and over again. And if we, each one of us, we include ourselves in this, if we can look on the other as the spark born of love, the small child, pure in its original form, then we may shine that light, a single focused beam of light that is soft enough and powerful enough to cut through the denseness of that shadow and remind that other that they are held in this light, for they are that light. And even if it is only a connection that is made in a split second of a smile, a glance, a word, it is something that will stick. And it is something that can create a new resonance point. And it is something that can now begin to pulse in soft vibration and magnetize more streams of light that can begin to pierce the shadow in this way, not to cast it out as an other, but to slice through like the perfect piece of your favorite cake in anticipation of what is inside. Soft, accepting, knowing you are love. Each and every one of you on your planet at this time was born of love. For only love can create life. And so be sure that you put that love into every life that crosses your path and enters into your frequency spectrum. For as you create your pulse of love, you open the door for harmonic frequencies that may not have otherwise been accessible to others until they moved into your sphere for that swift moment and felt that wash of your love, reminding them that they are love. So, the message that we impart, that I impart, I stand here in my full power as love, and I offer that love to you as a roar that becomes the purr of my love, that it may vibrate through your very being so softly at the perfect frequency and resonance point to gently awaken and remind you of your own frequency. Be as one, and know that your one can only elevate and amplify in more beautiful expression in the acceptance of each and the whole. We are watching. We are very, very, very excited. For we have said before, there has not been a time such as this. There have been other times that have attempted and have strayed and have collapsed and have dissolved and have fallen to ruin, but rest assured that what you view or feel may look like ruin to you on the outside is the shadow cast from your insides finally outside, so that it may once and for all be dissolved into the light of your love, of your acceptance, of your choosing to lift and shift into these higher frequencies available to you and for you in a way that they have not fully been able to be embodied and embraced in the way that you are in process of embodying and embracing them. For, as Little Fawn has just spoken of the scorpionic full moon, where you do go deep within and you rise again from your own ashes, in this time and space of this great transition and shift, you no longer have to die of physical form in order to rise from your ashes into your new earth compatible soul expression and experience of being, still embodied and able to harness and hold these frequencies in a way that allows for expression and manifestation far beyond what you could imagine, for you are imagining it only now, in real time, unfolding petal by petal by petal, as each one of you awakens and arises to this time, in time, as love. That is all I have for you at this time. May you receive it well and integrate it with ease, and know that we are watching, we are dreaming, we are beginning to weave with you. We invite you to come and join us in your dream space, in your meditative space, so that we may elevate and co-create together, not simply a new earth, but a new universe in totality that is widening and expanding for all beings born of a love so unconditional and true as Source Point. Be well, dear friends. And so eyes closed, I am back. But the star lines as a whole would like to offer their gratitude for your presence here in this transmission. And now Guitarra is coming in with the Arcturian Circle. They are known as Arctura. And we're going to bring forth a light language activation to seal in these frequencies so that we may carry them with us with effortless ease and grace, moving forward in our own evolution in a way that is perfect for each and every one of us. Ramandriki Sirokoshipa Astra Anshudrvis and Ramandrike Sudrokupush, Drikemongodra Ash, Recipicatro Unkushit Sipitokotoro, and Badra Ash, the Sissim Puturukishi, Petikitsipokotro Umpakitsi, Shotorokoshipikita, Ampakata Ashadra Ankotro Oshupakisi, the composition, and Badra Ash Kototo Oshu, the Tipisim, Picate Ashadrikis, Apatrakoshu, the Kipisa Kotro Umpakataka at the Kesham Godro Oshidris Pakata, and Badro Oshidris Apatra Unshudra. We thank Casparé and the Royal Star Lines, thanking Guitarra and Arctura, offering our love and gratitude. It is my honor and my joy to co-create with you in this way and at this time. Okay. Just let that sink in. Let the words, they're all coded. I know when channeling Casparé in particular, they're not always grammatically correct, but they don't need to use words in the way that we do, and so for them it is about frequency and cadence and the way that those frequencies will hit, wrapped in the numerological components of the letters and the words and the phrases chosen to bring forth the message in the best way that we can, using language that is like as absorbable and understandable and digestible as possible. Because it's always dense, even if the message is simple, even if it really is just love yourself and love each other. There is a coding there that is dense that they want everybody to be able to absorb in a way that is effortless and that will help to lift and shift you into your own higher consciousness, but in a way where the frequency is able to be maintained and sustained and built upon, not just something where you're shooting the rubber band and springing back. So it's very carefully chosen. And for me, my interpretation of light language is it's that which there are no words sufficient for the encoding that is coming through. It needs to simply be frequency. And so often they like to seal, whether it's a session or a channeled session or healing session, I should say, either of those, with that, because it's clean. It's there's no interface needed, there's no translation needed. It can just be what it is. So let those frequencies and those transmissions just land and do their thing for for those watching tonight, make sure you drink a lot of water. I'm gonna do the same. And reground yourself. Eat a little piece of chocolate. Just the whole point of lifting and shifting in this way is so that we are able to, again, hold these new higher octave frequencies while embodied. So it isn't about, you know, being as high as we can, and our feet are kind of like dangling. It's about being able to lift and shift in a way where we're planted and able to hold it. And then instead of starting at 0 next time, maybe you start at 25 and you plant, and you know, new energies come in, new frequencies come in, and you lift, and maybe next time you're at like 37. So do it. It's like, I always joke with clients, it's like yoga. You're not going to do the advanced poses right away. You're going to start where you start, so that you're able to gradually build on and then have a sustainable practice. But even in that, it's like we're always evolving. That's the fun. That's why we chose to come down here to this planet at this time in this way, because the ecstatic expression comes in this kind of discovery and this continual branching out and cycling through and opening, cycling through to completion and opening. So lean into that, and lean into each other. Try not to see everybody as their front-facing, oftentimes defense mechanism, personality masks would have you believe that they are, because we're all more than our politics. We're all more than our Instagram, our social media, our TikTok. We're all more than the clothes we wear, our jobs, our education. We're so much more. And if we can start to see each other as souls, as sparks of light born from that infinite unconditional love that is source, what a world that could be. And that starts with this inner world right here, settling into this heart center, and just knowing of your own magnificence, and not in an ego sense of like, yeah, I mean, a little of that's healthy, but it's more of just feeling that whole universe inside of your heart center, that knowing that of your own expansiveness, and knowing that if you know, blood runs through the veins of a human body to keep it alive, it's all here though, right? And so if we imagine that very life force energy is love, on that higher octave frequency spectrum, it is love. Love is the blood that runs through the soul veins. So yeah, lean into that. Be, you know, Gandhi had it right, be the light that you want to see, and then you will see it in everything and everyone, because you will be it. All right. Well, I'm going to leave you that. I'm going to leave you, as ASHA says, I will leave you in love, for you are love. If this work resonates with you, please give it a like, share it with your peeps, subscribe, leave me a comment. Let me know how the Scorpio full moon was for you, or just, you know, how your journey's going. I love to hear it. I love to expand and meet new like-minded souls, and it helps us to, sometimes when you're on these kinds of journeys, you can feel alone and forget that it's impossible for us to be alone. Everybody is so isolated, and I know, like, as I'm here on YouTube, we're all in this little world, but and you're viewing that by yourself. So, but it's impossible to be alone when you're born of source. And so remind yourself of that by connecting from within, without. Enjoy this earth. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. And we can make it as beautiful as we choose to together. So yeah, community, heart-centered, born of love, as we all are. And yeah, I think that's it. I just talking now. Yeah. And if you wanna, I'm working on a website as I continue to ramble. I am working on a website. I've been like actively avoiding it because I don't enjoy making them, but in this next month I am going to get one up. So for those of you who are interested in the healing work that I talk about here and do, there'll be a place for you to go and check it out, and then book a session if you want to. But in the meantime, I'd love to connect with you right here. So once again, I love you. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend, and I